Hello and welcome to 0AD. I am casting a 4 vs 4 team game. Please excuse my lack of English skills and have a fun experience. In the first team we have Caesar, who is hosting the game as the Romans. He is border and H.Roll is his pocket. He's a bit underrated, he's definitely a stronger player than 1100. He's playing as the Ptolemies and it looks like he's going for a Camel Rush. This is going to be some great fun, I hope, some early action. Then pocket of the other side would be Juarka, who is playing as Alpha 26 New Civilization, the Han Chinese, and his flank is Detsker, who is definitely one of the greatest players at the booming in the game, and I'm very excited what he's going to show us. Then in the enemy team, as Detsker's border, we have Freya as the Ptolemies, his pocket Asus God as the Gauls, Dr. Organs playing as the Spartans, and Helicity giving the Macedonians a try. We see Caesar is going for some early spear calf. I think it is only for hunting though, and not necessarily meant for aggression. Border is getting scouted. We see a forward wood line which could be a bit risky, but Caesar is not really known to have an aggressive playstyle, so it might as well be fine. The biome offers plenty of hunt. You can see all the oxes being used. Actually, most players going for cavalry here. So it's also Detsker who is alluring the walrus to his farmstead, which will make the food gathering a bit more efficient and will lead to some small eco advantages, but they over the time they sum up.
ESD?
Dr. Organs is coming forward with
ESD?
some skirmisher calf. Trying to see if he can find any damage. Actually, he could find some good damage should he discover those front berries. But he decides to go through the back, which isn't generally a bad option, as people tend to play more secure, and if they would have a bigger amount of women, it would more likely be in the back. There is for infantry and some calf close by, so he shouldn't actually find a great deal of damage here, but let's see what happens. Yeah, Caesar is bringing the infantry, but the skirmishers have been microed out, therefore the spear cavalry is kind of countering the skirmisher cavalry, and defense should easily be doable here. H.Roll has mastered up already 9 camels, but isn't going for aggression just yet. He has not touched his berries and just had his food eco done by hunting. And now he's queuing 9 women as a batch, which is pretty massive. I am not sure, maybe he should instead go for aggression at this point, see if he can do some damage. I'm not sure if making so many calf will be worth it in the long run if you just use them for economic purpose. On the other side, things seem to be quite calm so far. Now we have actually Juarka with an ambitious attempt with up to 13 sword calf. That is a big investment, so he needs to find a massive damage. to make it worth it. Let's see what he can do.
Yes, see?
It looks like he is potentially going to the pocket Blair where he could find some berries, but they should be evacuated in time if Asus God is paying attention.
TST?
He doesn't have a big amount of
Yes,
infantry though, so these
Yes,
single
see?
units can easily get picked off. Also, his backline just has, maybe if those guys would go back, like 6 infantry, which wouldn't be a secure amount. Here he is a bit late to garrison, so he's going to lose some population here also. Now, these women also are in a very insecure place, and I think they should have sent back much earlier, because now it is kind of too late, and he will have a massive casualties, unfortunately for him. It is going to be especially dangerous as their side isn't particularly easy playing against Detska there. So already it is kind of likely they might get overrun. Putting some pressure on the other side. Like this is a disastrous fight. There will be lots of losses. The women are taking up some of the damage, but it's not worth it. The 3 infantry there is just doing too little damage. And we see Jorka already with 50 kills. That is pretty insane, and should be very decisive factor in this game at this point. So the right flank is going to be in massive trouble, and I guess the other flank, Caesar and Helicity, would have to have a really strong game to make this eventually work. Caesar is going out for some aggression, maybe. Or maybe he's also just trying to get the hunt around here. So again, I am not sure whether if you make 6 cavalry it is sufficient to just take the hunt. I think you slow yourself down a lot, and it is not necessarily going to be the most efficient way compared to making double numbers in women instead. Or adding infantry if you just plan to go for an economic approach. So from H early we see a stable added, so he is definitely aiming at playing a very aggressive game, adding lots of camels. It may not be optimal against Macedonians, as they will have access to spear cav, which is a great defense, although at this point there is no cav being had by Helicity, so some damage could at least be done short terms. Now Dr. Organs apparently went forward, but he didn't find any damage. For now we see he is only at 3 kills. Which is not really sufficient to make a rush pay off. Asus got still very low at 38 pop, while his ally Freya, being the border player, is at 72, which also is not the greatest boom, and I doubt it will be strong enough to hold up Detsker, who has already boomed to 121. He had extra berries and is by far the player with the fastest economy for now. So I think the right side is going to be in just massive trouble very soon. Dr. Organs here is getting caught out, trying to harass Caesar. The Spear Cav is doing a phenomenal job here at defending Caesar's base. And this is probably, yeah, one of the strongest rush defense performances I've seen by Caesar so far. So, well played to him. Yeah, he killed 5 and lost 6, which is very fine for defending against a rush. And should be considered a success, I guess. Now even another stable for Hurle, which also keeps his eco somewhat slow if we compare it to other booming players like Helicity or Detsker. Therefore he has 14 camels already, but also for him no aggression yet, so his superior unit composition doesn't really come to full effect for now. And we will see if he can do enough damage later. At the same time, we could be happy about it, because it may give Caesar and Helicity a chance to make something happen on their side. Oh, actually, I am wrong. It is Dr. Organs who is Helicity's pocket. And they're playing together against Caesar and H. Hurle. So they would definitely be considered the stronger side. But with a suboptimal rush by Dr. Organs, it has to be doubted whether they're going to win fast enough to make up for the trouble the other side has gotten into. But things can turn out in weird ways. Someone might go to the other side and things like that can happen. Now we see Joarka going for Dr. Organs women, definitely a target, especially for Sport Cav. They have quite good HP and they can easily dive under the CC, although now he got kind of trapped by some surprise units and garrisoning, so taking quite some significant casualties here. He is still at 107 pop, so not too terrible. Detsker is continuing his boom at 170 pop, which is quite impressive. He's in P2 already. Can even now work towards P3 and maybe will get there in a short time. Even he just clicked right now. So uptime before minute 12 is generally to be considered fast. Maybe not for him, but at our level that is definitely great. And I'm very excited to see their push. Now H. is actually joining the Incretion for the first time, going forward with his camels. They have a great range, they can easily micro back, so they can avoid getting hit by those skirmishes. Now that they introduced acceleration for Cav units, it has gotten a bit harder, especially when you fight against slingers who have a bigger range than the skirmishes that Helicity is using right now. But still it can be very annoying. So one of the common defenses is would either to be adding Cav, though that is not going to happen as we see no stables, or it could be to make some towers to prevent the camels from getting fast, as towers would have enough range to reach the camels. If you take your infantry to run behind the camels, you might easily lose a lot of economy, as the camels can always run away and come back, and if the player pays attention to his micro, it is impossible to do any damage and you will lose a lot of time. Of course, sometimes you might be a bit slow and you get caught and you lose some units, but it is still incredibly annoying. As all these units are also being idle while they're chasing after the commas. Also keep in mind that this side, consisting of Dr. Organs and Helicity, is most likely fine if they can just prolong the game for a bit, so the other side has the time to do damage. Rhea is adding tower for defense, though that seems a bit sad considering there is a siege workshop in the fortress also coming up, so this is not going to have much effect, I am afraid. And Helicity actually has added a tower, and maybe should add another tower around the wood line so the camels couldn't approach it so easily from another angle, like over here for example. Caesar is going for a military camp at 116 pop. That is quite early, and I am not sure if I would agree with it. If Helicity spots it, it is easily destroyed, and he doesn't yet have the economy to go for a lot of siege units, although Macedonians are generally vulnerable to siege as they have no sword units to defend or a sword cav. So but he gets he gets caught and he will lose that. Yeah, he's rightfully retreating as there is no point of taking such a hopeless fight. H.Early is continuing to harass with some success. He has amassed up 14 kills so far and has caused a lot of idle time and confusion and definitely slowed Helicity down, who is also quite magnificent at booming, but now hasn't reached her full potential or is not going to P3 also. So on the other side, rams are being produced, so the push is looming. We have also stables being added, maybe to make sure in later stages of the game his army is going to be able to hold up with players on the other side who might go for a strong army composition consisting, for example, of champs or masses of cavalry. Joaka brought some crossbows forward. I don't know, maybe he was trying to go for CC somewhere but got found, I'm not sure. And now we're going to see a massive attack of almost, yeah, about 100 units for now. Some more should be added maybe. But also the 3 rams should be pretty deadly, as also Ptolemies have an all sports in their CCO barracks just in the colony, so it will be hard to find any convenient defense. And Asos who has gotten rushed, also has a stable but no anti-siege, and also only has 128 population, so it is doubtful whether he can intervene successfully. Then the same old game continues to happen on the left flank, where I am sure that Helicity is incredibly annoyed. He has a better population than H.Early though, because also the microing of the commas takes a lot of attention that you lose on your economy. Also the camels are produced very slowly and take a lot of resources as well. Although strategically it makes a lot of sense, as I have said, that flank also just needs to slow their enemies down enough for Detsker and Joarka to crush everything on their side. So I would expect Reyes Civic Center to go down pretty fast. He is evacuating some women to the back and is trying to do some kind of damage, but it is immediately seen and there will be no bigger losses inflicted on Detsker here. Well, I'm hoping I pronounce all the names in a correct way. If not, I apologize in advance and please let me know how to pronounce them correctly. The CC is also captured. This is quite relevant, as it allows to take control of all the surrounding buildings, which are now falling under Detschke's control. And this also prevents the enemy player from taking their base back by, for example, making another CC in the back and regaining control of their base. They're pushing for the next player now, which is Asusgot, who also, I think, does not have the means of holding against that attack, as he's alone against 2. He has around 100 infantry, but probably he's also massively behind in upgrades. Yeah, Detschke has all the ranged upgrades already, while Asusgot doesn't even have a blacksmith, so this is going to be quite a massacre, I am afraid. At this point, Dr. Organs would have to go to their side and assist them, because they're not going to win 2 versus 4. Instead, he's going towards the other side. But I don't think he will have much success. He has no siege yet. Helicity could bring some siege though, and is doing that. But I think they have lost the race already, as the other side will be much faster. So as they can't win that race, I would think it would be a better option to actually go to the other side and maybe try to push both players back. He might think though that there is no chance to do so anyways. I am not certain. Now Dr. Organs is going for the Civic Center, which I also think is not what is needed right now. I mean, either he would have to go to the other side, or they would have to be very, very fast winning their side, which is of course not helped if you waste a lot of time and resources to make a Civic Center, which is not really needed. I mean, the only thing it is doing is that you maybe can make some barracks and get some faster support, or you can take a wood line close by, but that is really not what the other team has to care about right now. As you can see, Caesar is at 150 pop, HLA at 140, so the other team has a clear advantage with both players being full pop, although we can see that Caesar already is adding a fortress. He has also some melee, so it won't be too easy to take down his base. Maybe they will go for H dot early instead, which maybe would be more promising, as he has less defensive options, aka swords or forts. On the other side, we can see that Detschke already has captured Asusgot a CC as well, which is again quite catastrophic, as he has no chance for any recovery. And therefore he is resigning, as he had no population to work with. I think at that point the game is pretty much over. Maybe they're yeah, just fighting a bit like for their pride to show they were in the position to win their side at least. But Detschke and Jork are now going to come for Dr. Organs. And he doesn't have the sufficient amount of units to put up the defense against all of what is coming. They're making a temple here to restore a unit's HP, which has suffered, of course, in the previous 2 fights. On the other side, for like other teams' last hope of winning against Shirley and taking out Caesar, this kind of attacks have kind of stopped. Dr. Organs is going back to his base to defend, and Helicity isn't in a position to push alone, really. Especially if Caesar should support H early, I would think they would be able to hold. Right now, of course, he's taking a good fight, as Earl forgot his infantry running forward, and is also at a very low pop. But they're not yet very close to having a decisive victory here. This has been recognized by Freya, who also resigns. Maybe he was planning to rebuild in Caesar's base should he die. Now Jorka and Edgar have arrived to Dr. Organ's. His army is not yet there to defend. Might not be in time before the CC goes down, but I guess he will kind of try to take a last stand. He's facing up to 150 units now, which of course will not be easy to defeat. Let's see if he loses CC also. Yes, that is the case. Oh my god, that is really painful to watch and sad for the other team. If you're a new player, please take that as a lesson from that game, that you should always make sure to delete it in time before the enemy has captured it. And now let's see if Dr. Organs can fight back against this attack. He has at least about 90 troops, but he still should be outnumbered by the enemy. Maybe his troops are a bit healthier though, as we can see a lot of low health units in the other team. In order to score a decisive win, he would have to retake his base also though, which is not going to happen. He loses all his production units, and therefore is also going to lose that fight in his army. And deletes everything. Okay, that is GG for Dr. Organs then. Helicity is just still trying to push on their side, but is unlikely to have fast success. Maybe we'll be able to take out the civic center though with the catapults. In the end, I would say that Jorka's rush was very decisive. He allowed for a very quick victory, but that's and Jorka, they should be favored on their side anyways. But the game could have been more thrilling, maybe, if they bought enough time for the other side to win their flank, which they were, of course, supposed to win, judging from players' strength. And Angelo's Scrammer Rush maybe didn't lead to create a boom by him and to create a number of kills, but it was actually effective in terms of slowing the other side down. Then I also think it was a decisive mistake from Dr. Organs not to go to the other side, while there was still at least a small chance to save Asus God, or even the Bona player, Freya. And yeah, therefore I think this game has been fairly quick. I hope it has been entertaining for you though, to see what a very successful rush can look like if the other player doesn't garrison very fast, and how like small things can have, small annoyances can have a bigger impact on the whole game. So I hope you had a great time, and thank you for watching.